About a commitment. You chose to love this person through thick and thin, sick and healthy, whatever the fuck y'all know the drip parents had.
Based, I mean, well, cursing, not based, but based everything else. I mean, yeah. Welcome back to the channel. And I think it's fair to say that marriage be difficult, right? Like spending time with and getting along with somebody for any period of time can be sometimes easy, but the longer time goes on, but the more things that happen, I think it can be very difficult, which is why marriage is something very sacred. It's a sacrament. It's literally a divine covenant instituted by God, given to human beings so that we can properly understand the significance of this special pairing. And so I think in today's age, like it's a bit hard, not just hard, but actually it's even possible, some would say, because there are aspects of marriage that you just can't comprehend. I think the way this guy speaks about it directly speaks to certain things where people can say, nah, I don't know if I can handle marriage. Based on the Bible, an implication is actually very reasonable. But let's get into the clip and we'll talk about it.
So American marriages and foreign marriages, they're not the same thing. It doesn't work that way. My parents taught me many things. One thing they taught me is that in a marriage, toxicity is actually admirable. It's a good thing. Call it crazy sometimes.
That's bold, right? Toxicity is admirable and sometimes a good thing. I mean, just be a little toxic. Oh man.
Call it, oh my god, toxic behavior. We're Egyptian, Musri, Arab. It's in our blood. Americans want to get married for the wedding pictures, the bachelorette party.
I beg the difference, isn't it? I think it's in everybody's blood. If I'm being completely honest, I think it's in human blood to be ever since the fall, a bit toxic.
Oh my god, you're gonna look so good in your corset. 6 months later, they're divorced because he's not making her happy. He's not fulfilling her needs. Marriage is not about happiness, okay? It's about a commitment. You chose to love this person through thick and thin, sick and healthy, whatever the fuck y'all know the drip parents had.
Based, I mean, well, cursing, not based, but based everything else. I mean, yeah, literally not about happiness. You establish a agreement because you have faith in this. Not you or him, this being you guys together. I mean, yeah, pretty based. Now, his parents though, let's get back to it.
Had an argument 3 days ago, okay? Word to everything, World War III was happening upstairs. Bursting up a storm. Hell, at one point I walked up like this, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Do I have to call the authorities? My dad hasn't done anything yet. First word spoken, he looks at me dead in my face and go to your room and don't come out to your room. You wanna tell me that shit twice, bro? Hasta luego, goodbye. Why do I wake up the next morning to the smell of bacon? I go upstairs, I'm like, there's no shot. My mom is in the kitchen in her little cooking apron. My dad's on the couch with the Liverpool game on, Muhammad Salah. Face deep in a bacon, egg, and all of this happened in less than 12 hours, bro. 12 hours. They hated each other, divorced each other, got with each other, and had a whole honeymoon all in 12 hours, bro. That's how it works, okay? Because we are passionate.
So, 12 hours. World War III was happening upstairs. The arguments, the words that were possibly said, absolute diabolical. Maybe a few bumps up there because some stuff are falling over. Because I would assume somebody's grabbing a bat or something like that. He literally has. Oh, he has the implication he has to defend his mom, or it's going crazy. And it's like dad says, go to your room. It's over. Like, no, you're not a part of this. Stay in your lane. He's like, okay, say less. And I literally just wakes up. Everything's back to normal. So it's like, how can that be? Well, simply put, I think, hey, some people would say, okay, that needs divorce immediately. Or, hear me out. Marriage not being about happiness means that, happiness, the temporal feeling in the situation right now, is not why we're in this union. It's because through thick and thin, meaning the good days, the bad days, which demonstrates you're not gonna always be at your best, you're not gonna always be at your worst. Life is a mixed bag and you react to it, but naturally we have established this truth that whatever life throws at us, we're gonna get through it together. And they seem to have found a way in literally less than 12 hours. Like, so they don't even go to sleep angry. They wake up and it's back to normal. Whether that could be their kids, that could be just, I would dare say it's more than the kids. Actually, you guys will quite literally understand whatever this is right now in the season. It's not that big of an issue. And again, the difference is simple. Marriage is that we're looking at this union long term, and we will fight against everything that wants to divide us for the sake of why we chose to be together and never separate. And I think this perspective directly speaks back to the Bible. Matthew chapter 19 verses 3 to 11. And the Pharisees came up to him and tested him by saying, is it lawful to divorce one's wife for any cause? This is the first question that Jesus answered. Now, granted, people always tend to remember his second response, but they don't know that was actually to a different question. We'll get through. So verse 3 was answered. This is the question: is there any good reason to divorce? Jesus. Verse 4. He answers, have you not read that he who created them from the beginning made them male and female, and said, therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Okay, so the marriage covenant, this principle, they become one flesh. Like, so this is a unique pairing. Verse 6. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined, let no man separate. The implication is clear. Like, given this is how God made man in his image, and the reasoning is very clear that because God made us to be one and unified, this is how you shall be. The end result, the conclusion is clear. If God put them together, more specifically, if they are unified in God, then simply put, unless God says otherwise, which Jesus confirms here, naturally, that if God joined them, God's choices, there shall be no separation from what God has joined. The answer is clear. No. No. There's no lawful cause isn't lawful to divorce one's wife, which is interesting because they ask him another question in verse 7. They said to him, why then did Moses give us a certificate of divorce? Send her away. Because the implication is clear. Verse 5. Actually, verse 6. If the ultimate result is they cannot be separated, then why did Moses allow it? This is where people tend to remember Jesus' famous answer. Verse 8. He said to them, because of your hardness of your heart, Moses allowed you to divorce your wives. So right off the bat, because pretty much your heart's so hard, which generally means that, like, you're not going to turn back, and obviously naturally if you're not going to turn back, meaning you're rebellious, you're stubborn, God says go left, you will always go right. Naturally, the implication of divorce seems to be quite literally the implication being that, because your hearts are so hardened, this could be damaging, this could be destructive, this could, like, you could be horrible to a person if kept together. So naturally, Moses, out of the love of God and out of naturally wanting to, like, give a sort of temporal mercy, right? He said he allowed it. In other words, you're so bad. It's like saying you're so evil that Moses, like, this is the only good way for you to, like, for you to essentially not destroy one another. It's basically the implication. But again, the end result is still the same. Well, from the beginning, it was not so. which is very interesting. It's literally dissecting the commandments and showing God's opinion, who also does say in the scriptures, "I hate divorce," and Moses' opinion, where he allows divorce. So quite literally, we're demonstrating how the law is perfect in quite literally handling the evil hearts of mankind and correcting them, but also demonstrates that, oh, like, it was never seemingly a permanent case, right? The divorce was never meant to be permanent, because the implication is clear: let no man separate what God has joined. Actually, Moses wasn't putting himself as a separation. He was quite literally doing it to help you, because you're going to destroy each other. At least the implication. Verse 9. And I say to you, whoever divorces his wife except for sexual morality and marries another commits adultery. Which is very interesting. Some manuscripts add, and whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. So right out the bat, very clear that you're like, oh, divorce, when it comes to specifically explicitly divorce, this is how Moses allowed it, because obviously the implication of sexual morality is, how do we tend to react to cheating? Very explosive, very let's just say not hot tempered, not good. Oh, baby, you cheated on me, or oh, I cheated on you, it's gonna be okay. No, if anything, we tend to keep that one as like an extra bullet in the chamber to want to destroy somebody over that. You know what I'm saying? So naturally, that's why Moses allowed it, because we tend to act horrible in those cases, right? But what's interesting here is, whoever divorces his wife except for sexual immorality and marries another commits adultery. So right off the bat, you're still not allowed to marry nobody else. Is the end result. You shouldn't actually, because again, he made it clear, let no man separate. You're already joined to somebody. So divorce is seemingly temporary, right? Because, okay, sexual morality, separation can happen, but no marrying other people. Oh no, absolutely not. With the implication of reconciliation being the cause of why this is the case. And so the disciples say to him, so basically, because you told, it's that binding, marriage is that binding where you are one flesh with this person. If such is the case of a man with his wife, it's better not to marry. It's better not to marry. Verse 10. People shouldn't get married, because that's very consequential. Is what is the implication. It's very consequential. Verse 11. But he said to them, not everyone can receive this saying, but only those to whom it is given. In other words, it's very clear. And not everyone can receive the truth. It's a hard saying, but it's the truth. Very simple. So let's read the footnotes just a little bit, just full in one time. Whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Other manuscripts, except for sexual immorality, makes her commit adultery. And whoever marries a divorced. So basically just confirming that, oh, you shouldn't marry a divorced person because of the implication of what Jesus said. That is the full implication. She is bound to somebody else as long as that person lives. But if anything, back ending that with the apostles in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verses 7 to 11, Paul says this: I wish that all were as myself, but each has his own gift from God, one of one kind and one of... So let's get into this. Verse 8, to the unmarried and to the widows I say that it is good for them to remain single as I am. It's good, it's very good. Verse 9, but if they cannot exercise self-control, they should marry, for it is better to marry than to burn with passion. So very simple, very good to remain unmarried, right? It's very good because obviously the implication is devoting to the Lord all your time. But if you can't control yourself, obviously to avoid the sin of sexual immorality, marry, right? That's why marriage is given. God said literally in the beginning that it's not good that man should live alone. So naturally, yes, better to marry than to burn with passion. Get this, verse 10. To the married I give this charge, but neither not I, but the Lord. So Paul's telling us something. It comes straight from God. And here's what God says: the wife should not separate from her husband. Verse 11. But if she does, she should remain unmarried or else be reconciled directly to her husband, and the husband should not divorce the wife. The implication is very clear. This is the full understanding of what Jesus, of where Jesus is coming from. You ought not to divorce or separate from your husband or your spouse, to be more specific. But if it does happen, because Jesus confirmed it can happen, right? Sexual morality is why one beyond every bit of truth would want that, right? Separation. The inevitable conclusion is a desire for reconciliation, right? It's like us, right? Like the church or the Christendom, the believers are the bride of Christ. If we should, quote unquote, separate ourselves from the things of Jesus, turning from him, don't go anywhere else, don't go to another religion, don't go to anybody else but Jesus, because the implication is if you've been joined, then naturally we want a reconciliation between you and the Lord. And naturally this plays out literally in a physical level with marriage, right? And what did Jesus like in the kingdom to? Marriage. Very interesting how these things play out. So is Jesus in favor of divorce? Absolutely not. At least the divorce what you're thinking of, the divorce meaning permanent separation, no, he's not in favor of that. A separation temporary so that there could be eventual reconciliation. That's the kind of divorce Jesus is a fan of, because naturally, let no man separate what God joined together. Very simple, verse 6. But with that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think it's not that deep? Like, if your partner doesn't make you happy, don't marry him? Or do we start looking for things beyond our simple happiness? I don't know. Keep the conversation going in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate you for coming this far. And of course, God bless and stay blessed, and see you guys in the next one. Take care.